Hello, it's Doug from Behind Closed Doors, and today I'm going to be doing an observation as opposed to a reaction. I've done a lot of videos on Andrew Tate, and I've done a lot of videos on Jordan Peterson, and I've done a few videos on Michaela Peterson. And there seems to be a bit of an issue going on. And the issue is Jordan Peterson has a problem with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate doesn't have a problem with Jordan Peterson.
That's why Andrew Tate is so attractive to young men.
Dude, so much. He's utterly fascinating to me. 90% of what he says scares me to death because it actually is toxic masculinity. But 10% is so good that I'm like, you cannot dismiss this kid.
People are complicated, eh? But now you see better examples of that, precisely that, in people like Jocko Willink and David Goggins and Joe Rogan. Like, these are tough guys, but they're not.
They don't have the sex appeal, though. That's one thing I'll give Andrew Tate. Like,
yeah, but that's partly because they don't want it.
Yeah,
you see,
fair.
But it isn't that they couldn't have it. Like, it's that they've decided that everything in its proper place. Rogan has a family, so that's where he's put it. And hey, man, good work to him. And that sex appeal that Andrew Tate has, that's the sex appeal of the short-term mater. That's the psychopathic sex appeal. That's the dark tetrad sex appeal. It's shallow. It's shallow, and it will get him in trouble. I mean, it's already got him in trouble.
Yeah.
And so that's not going to, unless he, wises up, precisely that, it'll get him in trouble. And I'm not trying to take him apart. I mean, I think what he did with his capitalization on female sexuality is absolutely unforgivable. But, that's enough of that. I mean, that was beyond the pale in my estimation. There's no excuse for that whatsoever.
Jordan Peterson, could he out-argue you?
Peterson and I have an interesting relationship. I believe the enemy of my enemy is my friend. However, I do believe he's a hypocrite.
Jordan Peterson called you reprehensible. And only
Wait, stop. Wait. My heart is broken, please.
Only losers love Andrew Tate.
Oh, my heart is broken. Oh, no, not Jordan. Not Jordan Peterson. Never cleaning my room again. Give a shit. Who cares? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I have nothing against Jordan. I'm not emotional about these things. I genuinely have nothing against Jordan. I could sit and argue with Jordan. I could enter the cage and beat the shit out of him. Or I could shake his hand and be his best friend. Whatever he wants, I don't care. What do you want to do, friend? Hi, Jordan. You want to fight to the death? Or do you want to speak on the same stage, on the same side? Or do you want to debate? Or what do you want? I'm not emotional about this. It's no big deal to me.
Could a good, thorough debate between you two be something that would be
I think it would be boring.
Challenge?
I think it would be boring. Because I think we agree on most things.
Right.
I think we agree on everything. And I don't think there'd be a debate because we don't actually disagree. The only disagreement is that I think, and again, this is as someone who's watched very little of his work, but I see clips, etc. He's very intelligent and speaks from a philosophical thought point of view. I think he's very in his mind. There's a lot of thinking. And I am very action-based, and there's a lot of action. I feel like if there's a problem, his answer will be to think certain ways, and my answer will be to do certain things. I always believe in action over everything. I don't believe in stopping and thinking and reading a book from a psychiatrist and pondering why I decided to fuck that girl. Go out, get chicks, boom, get to it. So I feel like he's far more thought-based, I'm far more action-based. Perhaps we could argue about the methods towards success for that reason. But all in all, I think we agree on most things.
Even though both men are very similar and have similar ideals, where they are different is with the family home and marriage. It seems to be so Andrew doesn't have a problem and Peterson does. So let's put Andrew to one side for a second and focus on Jordan's problem. Because if somebody has a problem with something, it's their problem.
You know, I noticed when I was in college, I broke up with 3 girls, I think, in the space of 6 months, something like that. They were relatively short-term relationships, you know, but they all ended the same way, more or less. And I don't even remember the details, but I thought, oh, that's not them. That's me. That's the sex appeal of the short-term mater. That's the psychopathic sex appeal. That's the dark tetrad sex appeal. I broke up with 3 girls, I think, in the space of 6 months, something like that. They were relatively short-term relationships, you know. And, you know, it took me a while to sort out what it was. Part of it was that I had a tendency to, this is very common. In fact, I'm sure it's overwhelmingly the norm. Maybe women do this too. God only knows what women do. But I had a tendency to put any woman that I was attracted to on a pedestal. And that was hard on her. And also, you know, put me in a demeaned position immediately, which was also not attractive, by the way. And so that was an anima problem, technically. And it took me a while to sort that out.
So yeah, here's the truth about male-female relationships. Women fuck men they respect. That's it. They don't fuck men they like. They don't fuck men they love. They fuck men they respect. If she loves you and likes you and doesn't respect you, she will not have sex with you. I have women who respect me and fucking hate me, but they're here every time I call. So if they respect you, they're going to sleep with you. And this is something that's biological and evolutionary. They fuck men they respect. So how do you make women respect you? Well, first you have to be worthy of respect as an individual. There's no hack. If you're worthy of respect, you're worthy of respect. But secondly, you cannot allow blatant disrespect. So if you allow her to blatantly disrespect you and you tolerate that, then you're setting a precedent, which means, well, why would I respect this guy in the first place?
Having listened to both men, it seems to be that women are a certain way. And Andrew accepts that and gets on with his life and works around that. Whereas Peterson doesn't.
I don't know if I can explain this properly, but maybe I can. If you put the woman that you're attracted to on a pedestal, what you're really attracted to is your unconscious idealization of women. And men see their unconscious idealization of women in someone they're attracted to, especially if the attraction is pronounced and immediate, right? That's a projection, psychoanalytically speaking. And then they confuse the woman with that idealization, which is very difficult to bear for the woman because she's not really there. That's the first problem. And second, she's going to get herself in trouble and not know it because now and then she's going to do something that violates that ideal projection and be called to account for it, even though she doesn't know what rules she's breaking. Plus, the guy won't be able to listen to her or appreciate anything about her that's not perfect or in accordance with that ideal. So that means she can't really talk to him. Right. She can't reveal anything that's untoward or...
That definitely makes sense.
Peterson doesn't seem to want to accept the way that women are. He kind of has this fantasy in his head about how he thinks they should be, then compares that to how they are, and then the discrepancy between the two he reconciles within himself by blaming men and MGTOW. So he sees the shortcomings in women, projects it onto men, says that it's their problem, and then he gets really emotional and negative about the fact that he's blaming men for this problem that he can't accept about women. And then he covers it over with this kind of virtue signalling, Captain Save-A-Ho mentality that men are the bad guys and women are to be saved. And that we should all just there's somebody for everyone and we should all just settle down. And Andrew Tate kind of personifies that realistic nature of how women are. And it's a shame that Peterson has this problem or this issue. And I hope he can find a way to kind of love and accept the feminine as it is and stop blaming men for it and masculinity for serving that in women. I hope he finds peace with it because it seems to be getting to him. And I mean, this is what the red pill movement is all about. And I empathise with it Because when you experience certain red pills, when your world is shattered and you have to have a new one emerge, it takes time and to integrate it. And it sounds like he's still integrating it now, even at this later stage of his life. He hasn't quite fully accepted the way that women are. I wish Jordan all the best, because it's very difficult to accept that nature and female sexual selection is a certain way, and it's not always the way that you would like it to be. Peterson's kind of dilemma reminds me a bit of the prodigal son. It can't understand why the father would forgive the other. I genuinely wish Peterson all the best, and I hope that he can find a way to not only accept but love the way that women are, as opposed to the way that he would like them to be.
From my experience, I met Andrew and I met his brother Tristan. They were very nice to me. Like, they were nice to me. We had a fun time. The reason that there's a rumor online that we hooked up or we slept together or something, that didn't happen. I've told people that numerous times. He's dispelled it, doesn't matter. Anyway, I haven't really commented on the situation because when I went, they were nice to me. Like, I actually had a pretty good time. He drove me around in his Bugatti and we saw castles, which was a weird experience. I remember telling him, he was a very, very, very smart person. And I remember telling him, you kind of remind me of a human shark. I don't know like what it was, but I was like, it's interesting. I don't know if it's your eyes or something, but you kind of remind me of a human shark. That was it. And then I flew home. So that's the story on my end. Now, I wanted to address that because people have been bothering me on Twitter for like 2 years or 3 years because of pictures of us smoking cigars or having a vodka or something, because I did. And it was fun. But that's it. That's the story on my end.
Do you think you made any mistakes in that venture?
Well, I had no idea he was going to become like the most famous person in the entire world. Would that have changed it? I don't think so. Like, from knowing what I knew at the time, I would have still gone. From knowing more about the webcam stuff, and he told me about. So once I was there, he told me about the webcam stuff.
What did he tell you?
Not in detail. Okay, I can't remember that well, but it was something like women who want to do webcam stuff, like they already want to do it. I help them make way more money, and I take a percentage. And so I was like, okay. I don't think, I wasn't like, that seems like a wonderful business model. But I was like, if there are women who are already doing it and now they're making more money, I guess it doesn't seem, it is what it is, kind of. And it was a very interesting experience, and they were nice to me. That's like the story.
The thing that disturbs me is that, like, I'm not very fond of the whole online porn thing in any way. And I don't think that it's okay for young women to monetize their sexual attractiveness online. I think that leads to a very dark place for them, even if they're successful, because becoming successful
hurts your soul.
You don't become successful by exploiting yourself. And you might think, well, I can exploit myself. It's like, you can't treat yourself like a psychopath would treat you and get away with it, even if the psychopath that's doing that is yourself. That doesn't work. That's why psychopaths aren't very successful, because they exploit themselves just like other people. And so I don't like the whole online porn thing. And then my understanding, and I've watched him apparently agree to this characterization online. It's hard to get I'm not trying to be the jury here because I haven't heard the whole damn story, but from what I've watched is he would enter into relationships with women and tilt them in the direction of generating like an OnlyFans following and monetize that and then take a percentage. And there isn't anything about that I think is acceptable. And you could say, well, women are the captains of their own soul, and if they want to monetize their own attractiveness, then what the hell, why not do it? And if they're going to do it anyways, I can help them, and if I help them, why not take a piece of the action? And the answer to that is, well, how about because it's ignoble and wrong? It's not acceptable. Like, I think pimps of any sort are, I truly believe they're amongst the most contemptible of people. I think there's nothing in, you know, with a pimp is, I've got all these hoes and look at me like, you know, king of these women. And it's like, no, you are the ultimate in pathetic, parasitic predators. There's nothing about that that's heroic. It's just pathetic. Tate serves his immediate self in this like impulsive, gratifying manner. And I think that goes along with his, you know, look at me, I'm in a Bugatti. It's like, you know, fair enough, man, in some way.